Hey guys, Sundown here. This is going to be my chapter review to One Punch Man 82 All Out. Now, last chapter was called Obstinacy, and we knew why it was called Obstinacy because Gato was being a stubborn ass mofo, not going down. He was getting his ass kicked, and he was really stuck for options, but he wasn't going down. And he kept coming back up, and he kept fighting. And I was like, "Yo, this is legit. Gato's going in." But this chapter was called All Out, and you know exactly why it was called All Out. Gato was, oh my god, he was kicking ass this chapter. Like, he took no nonsense. We knew he'd been poisoned. He's fatigued. He's injured. He's up against a team of 8 heroes and lacking an S class, which comes back to bite them. As I told you it would last chapter, I was saying that's gonna come back to bite him, and it did. Wow, So like, that was legit. He's fatigued, poisoned, hurt. He's trying to protect that kid from Gatling. Everything this chapter is good. So let's start off with the most important part first. The artwork of this chapter. The artwork of this chapter was off the charts. It's always really well drawn, One Punch Man. It's always really well drawn, but due to the action-centric nature of this chapter, we really got to see Murata at his finest. He's drawn Ice Shield 21. I'm not sure exactly what else he's drawn. Ice Shield always had pretty good artwork. But even now, in comparison to One Punch Man, the artwork is just next level. This guy is a monster. And like, I swear he released his previous One Punch Man chapter, so 81, like 10 days or something prior to this one, number 82. So that's a really high turnover rate, and my god, it's a really well drawn chapter. So then let's get to the chapter. Insane chapter, insane. Last chapter I mentioned that Gato is going to have to find a way to escape or kick ass. There's nothing else he can do, and even if he does escape, he's been poisoned. Even if he does try to kick ass, he's been poisoned and he's hurt. But he chose to kick ass. He chose to. You really see the growth of Gato in this chapter. His kind of belief in himself, his desperation almost to have to succeed. He's got no other option. There's only one path that he can take, and that's to move forward. He can't. There is no failure for Gato, and that was awesome to see. The heroes got complacent, much like the Falcons versus the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and they all made assumptions about Gato, just like how in the flashback, all monsters are kind of assumed to be evil, but Gato's like, and then actually I'd like to come on to that. Gato's reasons for siding with monsters. Now, it seems to be that, because we always knew that Gato was going to side with monsters. He wants to be a monster. He is a monster, technically. Or officially, I suppose. But we see here maybe the starting of the reasons for why he is or wants to be a monster. So it seems to be that he, out of all the humans, has realized that the monsters may have a valid point for being pissed off and for killing people and stuff like that. So he's empathized with the monsters, and he's like, yo, you know what? Justice Man and all these guys, they may be pretty dope, and they may have killed like this crab guy, but the crab guy, all he wanted was a clean sea. That's all he wanted. If he'd complied with that, it would have been fine, and it's beneficial for us too. So it's that whole idea of he's empathized with the monsters' points of view, and he realized that actually they might be right, but they're getting KO'd, they're getting slogged by the media for it, and everyone's against them, even though they have a valid point. So instead of being blind like every other human, he's decided to become a monster rather than take in all the media's bullshit. So I think he kind of wants to be that monster with morals, a monster against the establishment. So he's going to bring down the old establishment as a monster, and then kind of rise up and be like, hey, this is what monsters are like. I've brought down all the old heroes and stuff who are all part of that old establishment and that whole old media hype. And now this is going to be the new law. This is going to be what monsters are like. But I'm not sure if that's all. That can't be like the entire reason behind Gato's actions. He's got to have more behind it. He's got to have more depth. But it seems to be that his at least one of his reasons for siding with the monsters is that he can empathize with them, and he realizes that maybe heroes aren't as heroic in terms of they're killing off monsters who maybe have a good point to make. So it's nice to see that. Gato's plan in this chapter was obvious from the beginning: divide and conquer, bro. And he was just going in. So Chain and Toad, I said last chapter, Chain and Toad looks powerful, right? He looks more powerful than he actually might be showcasing. And Chain and Toad gets done in. It looked like Gato. We saw like a multitude of different fighting styles from Gato. If you're familiar with martial arts, I'm kind of familiar with martial arts, and it looked like kind of he took like this drunken fist kind of position and stance when he wrecked Chain and Toad by punching Smile Man's ball at him. You know, that big hammer ball thing he's got. He takes like this drunken fist position, he smacks it. And I was like, yo, that's familiar. That looks really familiar. It's if you've watched the Jackie Chan movies on the Drunken Fist, you'll have recognized that instantly. So he gets rid of the 2 medium range fighters by cutting the thread off the ball. So then Smile Man can't use his medium range ball thing, and Chain and Toad was knocked out because he got wrecked by friggin' the Smile Man's ball. And then he goes for the 2 long range fighters. McCree, the gun guy, gets done in by the ball too. And it looks like that punch was actually the move he uses to do in McCree was also like, it looks like it was 1-inch punch influenced, or it was kind of around that kind of martial art. Let me just put my phone on silent. I have a feeling someone's gonna call me. All right. Yeah, so it looked like it was influenced by the 1-inch punch, but instead he kind of used a palm move instead of, like, you know, the type move. So that was cool to see. Wildhorn gets distracted by the ball and Gato wrecks him too. And this is really kind of all Smile Man's fault, or whatever his name is, you know, the guy with the hammer and the ball. This is all his fault. Once that ball gets cut off, 4 heroes, is it 4 heroes? Chain and Toad, Smile Man, Chain and Toad, McCree, Hanzo, and then Wildhorn. Yeah, 4 heroes get knocked out just because of that ball, because they're all distracted by that ball. Even Wildhorn with his freaking pile driver thing, he gets knocked out as well. And so what I liked about this chapter was we got to see Garo's smarts. He's a really smart fighter, and he grows with every fight that he has, almost like a Saiyan. So he's worked out the timing of their attacks, which is how he got rid of the first 3 heroes. He avoids getting hit by Hanzo's freaking arrows, by Hanzo's scatter shot. This way as well, he holds up Wildhorn because he realizes this is kind of, I'm feeling Hanzo's scatter shot coming at me right now, so I'm going to put up Wildhorn. He's got armor, I'm chilling. And then he foresees Glasses throwing rocks at him, because he's like, Glasses isn't going to come into me while I'm kicking ass right now. He's going to try and hit me with like rocks or some shit, because that's what he's been doing. And he catches each rock and he's like, you know what, this is my time to wreck Hanzo. So then Hanzo gets wrecked, and then he pile drives Wildhorn and uses him as a shield against friggin' Stinger. And this is all so well done, because like I said before, Divide and Conquer, he realized the heroes were awesome as a team, but they were shit individually. They were horrible individually. None of them could actually do anything to him individually. So he that's what he does straight away. He starts going after the weakest ones, or the ones who are worse as individuals. And well, first what he did was he threw them off guard. He cut off the ball, and then Chain and Toad's like, shit, okay, I got wrecked. So then as soon as he took out one person, then he kind of gained momentum and just started taking out everyone. So what a guy, basically. He goads Stinger, allowing him to KO Smile. That part I actually didn't like. I didn't like the fact that he dug his arm into the ground and pulled out like the roots, and managed to like throw them all off guard, because he pulled out like a whole bunch of roots. I mean, like, surely he didn't know they were going to be there. I mean, yeah, if there's a huge ass tree, there's going to be a dense network of roots in the soil, but the chances of him pulling out a specific network of roots that like managed to be beneath every single hero that he was attacking, that was a bit bullshit. But what he did was, his aim was to goad Stinger into attacking him, so that he could then throw him off guard and attack Smile Guy. So that was cool to see. Smile Man got wrecked, and then he sticks to Glasses so that Death Gatling can't actually shoot at him, and Death Gatling's like, well shit, I can't do anything. And that was also a good move by Gato. It's all, I'm showing you his smarts. There were a variety of things we saw from Gato. His smarts, his prowess, his unwillingness to die or be defeated, his stubbornness, his variation in martial arts. He is a master in martial arts. You have to remember that he's mastered it almost to the point of, because he was Bang's student, so he's almost at the point where maybe he might even be a challenge for Bang. We don't know too much about Bang, but Bang surely must be like, if he's looking at this, Bang must be like, shit, he's gotten really strong. So yeah, so Death Gatling doesn't mince him, and then he does in Glasses and Stinger at the same time. So then we come on to Glasses. Was he the MVP of this chapter? First off, he tries to put up a decent fight against Gato, but he does end up losing because Gato's just a monster, and he knocks the shit out of him basically. But he also is the only one who thought ahead and didn't have his head so far up his own ass that he didn't call an S-class hero. He was the only person who sent a distress signal and called upon an S-class hero. We'll come on to that at the end. And Death Gatling, although oblivious to the child, was pretty much saved from murder this chapter by Gato. Gato actually says, take a good hard look the moment a monster wins. So this is him kind of like almost being like a freedom fighter for monsters. You know, he's trying to showcase that monsters' lives have have value beyond what the media and what the humans think, and that monsters can be an asset to society. Maybe, but there's a whole bunch of shit that Garo could be fighting for. But yeah, Death Gatling, he didn't go after. He had a reason not to listen to Garo because kind of Stinger got done in the same way. But if there was any hint of a child having been in that shed, Garo, Death Gatling as a hero should have been like, yo shit, maybe I shouldn't shoot in that direction. All he needed to do was hold his gun at Garo and kind of just slowly motion around and not shoot the freaking shed. But he carried on. And then we get the best panels of the chapter for me because they were hype. The panels where Garo maneuvers the bullets away from the shed and he's kind of just flicking them across, and he's just maneuvering them out of the way. He's not really deflecting them, he's just moving them. That was really awesome to see. And then you see Garo's hands afterwards, they're all bloodied and shredded up. But you see the development of Garo in that situation. He's every life and death situation he meets, he overcomes, and he becomes better and better each time. So you can see in his eyes, he's like, shit, I gotta do this, otherwise I'm minced meat, I'm dead. So he just goes into like 110%, and he maneuvers the bullets out of the way, and he grows because of it. So that was really awesome to see. And like I said, and like I assume everyone else thought as well, the lack of an S-class hero is what bites the group of heroes in the ass. There were 8 heroes and they all got knocked out. So as soon as Garo started fighting them individually, they got wrecked, like I mentioned before. And this could have all been avoided, but Gatling, the person who kind of denounces the hero classes, he's like, oh yeah, I don't care about the hero classes, I don't think they're a true representation of a heroic, of how heroic a person is, or their ability. It could all be just how popular someone is. You don't have to be a particularly good hero. So the person who denounces the hero classes the most, Garo even says this, Death Gatling, the person who denounces the hero classes the most, seems to care or give a shit more than everyone else, because he's really, and what you find out in this chapter is Death Gatling cares a little bit too much about the hero classes, and he wants to, he's really jealous of the S class, and he wants to be part of that kind of group, but he can't be, so he denounces it. He's one of those guys, and because of this he's become selfish, ignorant and stubborn, and because of that he's cost his team, and he's allowed Garo to grow to a more complete and more epic level. The child who then runs away from Garo was a little saddening, actually. I was like, yo, he just heard Garo tell Gatling not to shoot at the shed, and he knows pretty damn well that Garo just saved his ass, because Gatling would have shot at he did shoot at the shed, but he knows that Garo said don't shoot at the freaking shed. On the other hand though, Garo did just destroy a team of 8 heroes, so the child may be forgiven for the fact that 8 heroes just got wrecked in front of him. So maybe that's alright, you know. And Garo did look pretty scary, you know, he's all bloodied, his bandages are falling off and everything. So that was all dope, and that was the majority of the chapter, so I really enjoyed that part. And then we get an explosion go off, and as soon as I saw that, and you see Garo's expression like shit, you knew it was going to be an S class. But when I saw Genos, and everyone in the chapter, after the chapter in Reddit, on Manga Stream, they were all saying this. When we saw Genos, the first thing I thought was, man, Garo's like 80% he's 80% on the road to death, and Genos is going to get an L, he's going to lose. I was like, what the? Now, Genos is going to lose to a Garo that's like 80% dead. So, oh my god. And yeah, so I really, because I think, even though we all know Genos has a reputation for losing, I really can't see him losing. I mean, even though Garo is like 80% dead, Garo did that kind of sigh of relief thing at the end of the chapter before Genos comes, that, you know, at the end of a life or death situation where all the pain and fatigue mount and you feel like death warmed up, basically. He did that kind of sigh, like whew, and then you feel all the pain again. And he's also still dealing with the poison, his fatigue, his injuries, and additionally Genos got upgraded a few chapters ago, so this is going to be a really, really tough one for Garo to get out of. And I really don't see Genos losing, but the whole trope with Genos has been, he's that character that, you know, he gets upgraded. He's the Vegeta of this series. He gets more and more powerful, but every time he comes back and he's fighting a main villain, he gets wrecked, and he's really just there to showcase that Goku's growth is more exponential or faster, and he's the better character suited towards the main villain in terms of fighting. And Vegeta always loses for some reason. Even though I love Goku, Vegeta was always kind of shown as a scrub in the original Z series. So yeah, I want Genos to win, but that trope of him losing is going to continue. He's going to receive an L. You know, he's going to lose. So what now for Garo? he can beat a few of the S classes. We've seen him do that. He beat Tank Top. He beat, who else did he beat? He can definitely beat King because, like, you know, King. I've forgotten who else in the S class he beat. Well, he's up against Genos now. We can count that as an L almost, but maybe, you know, Genos might pull something out. And Genos looked dope as shit, by the way. He had like a Genos branded shirt. It looked really awesome. I was like, yo, this guy looks cool. So we know he can beat at least a few S class heroes. We know Garo can handle a team of intelligent but complacent below S classes. So anything below S class, Garo can basically hack easy any day. So who does he go for next? He got wrecked by Watchdog Man. Saitama is like in C class, but obviously can wreck him. So who does he go for? I think he maybe like Child Emperor or some shit. But he really needs to. What he needs to do now is recuperate, because he's not in a good situation. And also with Genos there, we don't really know how this is gonna go. Genos should by all rights win, but this is One Punch Man, and Genos is like an L magnet. He just receives those L's from freaking nowhere. So yeah, that was the entirety of the chapter. Let me know what you guys thought. I really enjoyed it. This has been my longest review to date, I think. Yeah, so let me know what you guys thought. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. This chapter was defo a 10 out of 10. Well, a 9.5 at the least. It was just a really good chapter. Well drawn, awesome action, Gara going in, Genos at the end. What more could you want? So yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys in a bit.